Before we get into the Doom theory, I need to quickly tell you something. YouTube recently disabled my AdSense account and both of my channels were affected. I've already submitted an appeal, but I still haven't received a response. So if you're part of this community and there's any way you can help share this, spread the word, or get it in front of the right support team, I genuinely appreciate it. Because when you're a small creator, it can feel like nobody listens. Now back to Doom, because there's one tiny detail in this footage that might actually reveal what Doom is holding, and it could be insanely powerful. Look at this shot. Doom appears to be flying backward before landing with the heroes. So the first question is obvious. Did someone hit Doom and send him flying? Or is Doom intentionally moving backward? We don't know, but right before he lands, there's a split second where something shiny and metallic appears to fly away from him. And that immediately creates two possibilities. First, could it be a piece of Mjolnir because Captain America has Mjolnir and the weapon is already shown as being broken into pieces? So one of those silver fragments could have been knocked loose when Cap attacked Doom, traveled across the battlefield, and landed nearby. But there's another possibility. Maybe that metallic piece is actually part of Doom's armor knocked off during the attack. And that would make more sense if it isn't Mjolnir. But then a new image appeared online that makes this much more interesting. You've probably seen the viral image of the official Doom toy. Marvel made the figure extremely accurate to Doom's movie design, and guess what? Doom is holding a metallic-looking object in his hand. When you compare that with the mysterious object from the footage, things start getting suspicious. And it gets even crazier when you look at the scene involving Reed. At one point, Reed seems to be asking Doom about something, while Doom is holding that same object. Zoom in and you can clearly see that shiny, metallic look. So what if this isn't random? What if this object is actually one of the most important things in the movie? Here's where the theory gets crazy. What if Doom wasn't originally evil? Maybe Victor genuinely wanted to work with the Avengers and help save the world, but then he discovered or created this object. And using it, he caused something catastrophic. That's when the heroes realized what Victor had become. Thor, Captain America, Sentry, they all turn against him. They attack Doom, and Doom goes flying. But here's what bothers me. Why would Doom intentionally drop the object? If he was simply flying backward by choice, there's no obvious reason to lose something that important. And if Doom used magic to move himself, we'd probably expect some kind of green magical energy. Instead, we don't really see it. So maybe CGI removed something. Maybe the sequence was edited. For example, if Thor attacked Doom, there should potentially be lightning or some kind of visible energy. Maybe that was cut. So my theory is that someone realizes what Doom has done, attacks him, and knocks the object out of his hand. Doom falls. The heroes follow him. And then Reed tries to pull the object toward himself using his powers. And this could be the moment Reed finally understands everything. Because Reed is supposed to be one of the smartest people alive. But maybe even he was fooled by Victor. Sue may have already warned him. The movie apparently emphasizes the idea that Victor is the smartest man in the room. And honestly, it fits. Because sometimes the only person capable of fooling the smartest person in the room is someone smarter than him. So technically, Victor may have been the smartest person there all along. Reed tries to take the object. Doom fights back. The Avengers stand against him, and Doom seemingly takes down the Sentinel robots. That's the sequence I think we're looking at. I could be wrong, because there's another weird detail. When Doom lands, he's wearing one outfit. Later, he suddenly switches into his warrior armor. Why? Maybe he uses magic to change it instantly. Maybe there's another explanation. We'll have to see the movie. But the object itself looks far too futuristic to be some random piece of ancient metal. And that gives us several possibilities. The most obvious theory online is the ultimate nullifier, and there's a reason. We know the ultimate nullifier from Fantastic Four comics. When Galactus attacks Earth, the Fantastic Four, with help from Uatu the Watcher, discover it. And Galactus is basically terrified of it, because this isn't some normal weapon. Used incorrectly, it can potentially destroy an entire universe. Its exact origin is also still mysterious. Some comic explanations suggest it's connected to Galactus himself, meaning it may not have originated in our universe. Remember, Galactus existed before our current universe, so the ultimate nullifier could potentially have crossed over from another universe when the new multiverse was created. And its name tells you everything. It can potentially erase reality itself. We've never even seen its full power used in the comics, so Marvel could easily introduce a mysterious MCU version without even calling it the ultimate nullifier. and Doom being present during an incursion involving 3 different worlds or universes makes the idea even more interesting. Maybe Doom is there because if that incursion goes wrong, the universe could be destroyed. So the ultimate Nullifier theory definitely has a connection. I initially thought the Fantastic Four would use something like this against Galactus in their first episode, but that obviously didn't happen. So Marvel could still introduce it through Reed. Personally, I'd give this theory around 20 to 30%, but I don't think it's the strongest possibility. The second possibility comes from Doom's magic. In the trailers, we've seen Doom use dark-looking magic before the familiar green magic appears. So maybe Doom has access to some form of dark or shadow magic. And that leads us to the Shadow Key. The Shadow Key is associated with accessing the dark dimension. Now technically, Doom doesn't need a key just to access dark dimensions. He's already powerful enough to travel through and manipulate dimensional spaces. But if the object gives him access to a specific source of dark energy, then it could still make sense. Maybe the dark dimension doesn't give him the power directly. Maybe the object simply opens the door. That's especially interesting because Doom is clearly using dark or shadow-based magic in the trailer. But there's one problem. The Shadow Key in the comics is basically an ancient key. The movie version looks far more technologically advanced, so I'd put this possibility at around 10%. And that brings us to the theory I find much more interesting. What if this is connected to Kang? We don't know if Kang is actually going to appear in this movie, but there's a rumor that Doom may have already defeated the Kang Council before arriving here. Again, rumor, not confirmation. And if that's true, then the Forever Stone becomes extremely interesting. Sometimes it's also referred to as a Forever Crystal. Think of it as something operating on a much bigger scale than the Infinity Stones. Kang and his variants are heavily connected to this kind of multiversal technology. The object can potentially interact with time and reality across different timelines. And look at the story we're dealing with. 3 different universes are about to collide. Meanwhile, this object is associated with manipulating multiple realities. That's a pretty interesting parallel. And here's where it gets even crazier. The Forever Stone wasn't simply some random object created at the beginning of the Big Bang. The idea is connected to Kang's technology. Think about Chronopolis. Kang built an incredibly advanced system around time and reality. His technology can function almost like a multiversal time travel machine. And if Doom defeated Kang and his variants, what if he took control of all of it? What if Doom didn't just steal Chronopolis? What if he condensed its power into a single object, a stone, a crystal, a device, something he can literally carry in his hand? That would explain why this object looks so futuristic. And it would also explain why Kang doesn't necessarily need to appear physically. Because Doom could have taken everything Kang built. Maybe Doom killed or defeated the Kang variants, took control of Chronopolis, and condensed all that power into one artifact. So instead of Kang being the multiversal threat, Doom inherits his entire legacy. And if that's the direction Marvel is taking, it would also explain why we're not seeing Kang everywhere. Because there's an obvious question, if there were so many Kang variants, where did they all go? Maybe Doom eliminated them. And Marvel could use Kang's death to establish just how terrifying Doom really is. He didn't just defeat Kang. He took everything Kang created. This is probably my favorite version. What if Doom took Chronopolis and somehow compressed the entire thing into this one object? We've already seen Marvel play with quantum technology, dimensional spaces, and massive structures being manipulated on an impossible scale, so imagine Doom turning Chronopolis into something small enough to hold. Now, he doesn't need an entire city. He doesn't need Kang. He doesn't need a giant machine. He just needs the object. And we've already heard theories about Doom attacking the TVA. D23 footage has also fueled that speculation. So why would Doom attack the TVA? Maybe he wants something. Maybe he wants to destroy something, or maybe he already took it. If this object contains the technology necessary to manipulate time and the multiverse, suddenly the whole thing makes sense. Marvel could basically say Chronopolis is no longer a place. Its power is inside this object. And if they call it the Forever Stone, that would be one hell of a reveal. I'd give this possibility around 50%, but there's still one more. Another possibility is the Jodic Key. The interesting thing here is its connection to balancing good and evil on a multiversal level. And if Doom is increasingly using dark magic and dark powers, maybe this object helps him control that corruption. Maybe Doom is using it to balance or amplify the darkness inside himself. But again, the comic version is basically an ancient key. The MCU object looks much more technologically advanced, and the character most associated with technology capable of manipulating time and the multiverse is obviously Kang. So that brings us right back to Kang. Kang's technology can control timelines and access different realities, and we've already seen that the TVA operates around exactly that kind of technology. So if Doom is attacking the TVA, it could be connected to this object. Maybe he's trying to steal something, maybe he's trying to destroy the TVA, or maybe he has already taken whatever he needed from them. And if the object is essentially a compressed version of Chronopolis or some multiversal technology, then Doom could literally be carrying a piece of the multiverse in his hand. Of course, there's always the simplest possibility we're wrong about every comic book name. Marvel could have created a completely new artifact specifically for the MCU. The object might borrow concepts from the Ultimate Nullifier, Shadow Key, Forever Stone, and Jodic Key without actually being any of them. And Marvel has changed comic book mythology before, so the fact that it doesn't perfectly match one comic object doesn't necessarily mean anything. It could be something completely original. But there's still one clue I keep coming back to. Reed wants it. If Reed knows what the object is capable of, then his reaction suddenly becomes extremely important. Maybe Reed realizes the truth at that exact moment. Maybe Sue was right. Maybe Victor manipulated everyone. And even though Reed is technically the smartest man on the hero side, Victor may have been smarter all along. That would make Doom's entire plan much more disturbing, because he didn't overpower everyone, he outsmarted them. And when Reed finally tries to take the object from him, Doom fights back, the Avengers intervene, Doom activates the Sentinels, and the entire situation explodes. Let's connect everything one last time. Doom is thrown backward. A metallic object appears to fly away. It could be a piece of Mjolnir. It could be part of Doom's armor. The official Doom toy shows him holding a similar metallic object. Reed appears to be interested in it. Doom uses dark magic. The object looks futuristic. The Shadow Key could connect to Doom's dark powers. The Ultimate Nullifier could explain the insane destructive potential. The Forever Stone could connect Doom to Kang, Chronopolis, time, and the multiverse. The Jodic Key could connect to the balance between good and evil. And if Doom really defeated Kang's variants and took control of Chronopolis, this mysterious object could literally contain the power of an entire multiversal system. So my current odds would be Ultimate Nullifier 20 to 30%, Shadow Key around 10%, Forever Stone around 50%, Jodic Key possible but less likely. And the final wildcard, Marvel made something completely new. Personally, I'm leaning toward the Forever Stone, not because it's confirmed, it absolutely isn't, but because it connects the most dots: Kang, Chronopolis, the TVA, time, the multiverse, Doom's futuristic technology, and that mysterious object. Imagine the reveal. Doom defeated the Kang variants, took their technology, took control of Chronopolis, compressed all that power into one object, and now he's carrying it around like it's nothing. At that point, the Avengers aren't fighting a normal supervillain. They're fighting someone who may have the power to manipulate reality itself. And maybe that's why Doom is so confident, because while everyone else thinks they're fighting Victor Von Doom, Doom already knows he's holding the winning piece, so now I want to hear your theory. What do you think Doom is holding? The Ultimate Nullifier, the Forever Stone, the Shadow Key, the Jodic Key, or something Marvel hasn't revealed yet? Drop your theory in the comments. And if you want to help with the AdSense situation I mentioned at the start, sharing this or helping get the issue in front of the right people would genuinely mean a lot. I'll see you in the next one.